I think you should stay the hell away from minors are the words I texted Austin Perret, better known as Outh, when the document exposing them finally came out. I've done Outh for quite a bit, and there's a good chunk of what is being described in this document that I was here for. I'm here to give my thoughts, various debunk various things that Outh has said, and try and cover up their tracks. I am not here to scrutinize people. I am simply here to point out where Outh is straight up lying. And in the response is Sophie. This video is quickly thrown together. I apologize if it has a low production quality. I am simply trying to get information out as quickly as possible. Outh was kind of a shitty friend and pretty bad as a person. I do think they can improve, but that starts with admitting everything, starting with the fact that they groomed Sophie. Now, grooming allegations are incredibly serious, and I think Outh can know for a fact that I also take them very seriously, and I was there for a lot of it, for a good chunk of it, but I didn't do anything because I wasn't entirely aware. And I do wish I had taken better action. You'll see some of my responses to things in a bit. But I'm so sorry, Sophie, that I didn't do anything sooner. My deepest apologies. I really hope you can just move on from this in your life. And Oos, if you are watching this, you need to get off the internet. Just do it, dude. Like you need to get off the internet if you know what is good for everyone involved. I'm now going to read out Sophie's document, which first, and I am going to give my little 2 cents on everything that is said. I do not think Sophie's at fault here. If you think this is Sophie's fault or whatever, then you clearly have rocks in your brain. But I'm going to start with that. So, introduction, Sophie's introduction, and then Sophie mentions that Outh and her became friends when she was 15 and they were 18. I can confirm this because I was there, and Outh knew Sophie, like they knew of each other, but they weren't really friends. They hated each other, and they did not become friends until later. Because I know this, because when they really knew of each other, it was when Sophie and I knew of each other, and that was during near near the end of times are blurry, but I know Oos was 17 when that happened because I remember it happened in the taco restaurant when Sophie got pissed at us because we were posting South Park in a server. It was a whole thing. But that's when they like really knew of each other. Um Later they made up, and that's when they became friends. Sometime in May, I'm pretty sure. Lucy's already 18 in May of 2023. Their birthday is in April. I'm not going to say which day, obviously, but their birthday is in April. They're an adult by this time. They are 19 now. And Sophie was 15, and I was aware of Sophie being young, but not 15. Because the way Outh constantly worded it made it sound like they were 16. And when I did learn they were 15, it was like this was very weird about age in the beginning, but I did not pay that much attention to it because I was like, oh, it's just another Outh quirk, right? Um, the whole disclaimer to wait until the end. Beginning, Outh and I got to know each other on May 10th, 2023. I was there for when they got not together, but when they became friends. Um, and I was aware of them role playing. I can vouch for Sophie and say that there was an SFW roleplay because Outh would talk about it to me. Outh would literally go up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing an SFW with roleplay," and I didn't think much of it at the time because I was like, "Oh, it's just another Outh thing, right?" I am so sorry I didn't like say anything sooner. I definitely should have, but uh, yeah, there isn't really a but there. I should have said something sooner. I'm sorry about that, Sophie, but it the I can confirm that Outh is flat out lying when they say there was nothing done. Um, here the proof of the roleplay server, and then I wasn't I wasn't aware of the quote unquote borderline phone sex until Sophie told me about it. Um, I was just aware of NSFW roleplay in Discord servers. That's all I was aware of, but I'm sure Sophie would not lie about that. That seems like in character for Outh. Um, Corza Corpse, I wasn't there for either. Um, I was there for the matching profile pictures with NSFW, and I remember this was, I'm pretty sure this was after I told Outh that it is weird to be exposing Sophie to NSFW, because I mentioned that at one point, and Outh was like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I'll throw up a screenshot." This was during our falling out. I'm pretty sure, and um, I remember them matching profile picture, but I don't remember who it was with. I just remember seeing the NSFW profile picture, and it, like me going, "Is that the porn you drew?" And they're like giggling and like, "Yeah, it is." Um, that's weird. You shouldn't match NSFW profile pictures with someone who is that much younger and that immature. And you definitely shouldn't go around public servers with that profile picture, which I know you were doing, Oath. Um, you also say that Sophie pressured you into like showing you their artwork. They didn't. They didn't, dude. Stop lying. You're tweaking. Um, but I can confirm that it was kicking people from servers is definitely a new thing. I left all the servers once I was no longer friends with Outh, so I unfortunately can't go back. But Outh had an NSFW channel that only me and Sophie had access to in their private server, and they would post the NSFW drawings they drew in there, like serious drawings. And one of their friends was like, "Oh, but you showed the fact that they think you're showing an SFW to just minors is insane because we would like as your adult friend I'm saying that we would stream R34 together and laugh at the art out there. That's different than showing a minor your NSFW drawings. Again, that's like weird. Don't do that. And if you do that, I don't want to be near you. Um I can also confirm this isn't like no one's contesting this, but I can confirm that Outh did go to see Sophie in person. I was friends with um Outh during that, and Outh was panicking the whole time and going, "What do I do? People are being weird about me going to see Sophie." And I'm like, "It's a little weird that you, an 18-year-old, are flying out to see a 16-year-old, a fresh 16-year-old, but as long as nothing weird or bad happens, that's fine." Post editing Apollo here to say that Sophie informed me that she was 15 when Outh came over, not 16, and Outh made a massive point that Sophie was 16, which was a flat out lie. Um, then the moderator thing with the Total Drama server, I was there for that too. Um, I remember Outh framing it as I didn't know the people there were minors and that it was a private server. If you are a moderator of a server and you get invited to a private server, for those moderators, you should know everyone's age, and that responsibility falls on you. And the fact that you did not care to check shows how irresponsible you are with minors and how you should not be let near them until you learn, because that's weird. And how the mental gymnastics you did to justify this to me and our other friends at the time was wild. And I remember being really off put by it, but I didn't say anything because I thought it was a genuine mistake on your behalf. It might have been, but the responsibility still falls on you, and I'm baffled how you thought that was okay. It was, um, and here's a screenshot of Outh talking about an NSFW collab with Sophie. Great. Great. Okay. Um, Here's where I come in the document. This is my screenshot. Um, and Sophie confessed to Uth that she had feelings for them. I Everyone told Uth, shut it down now. Shut it down. Just don't interact with it. It's fine, but shut it down. That's what I say here. And I say some really weird shit in this screenshot and a little down under, which Uth includes in their document where I say Sophie is mature for her age, and I want to clarify this was last year. This was like a whole last year ago. I was 16 at the time, because I'm 17 now, almost 18. But um I I I retract that specific statement, and I should have been firmer. Please understand that. I think it's weird to say people are mature for their age. Um People would Sophie's right. People would constantly be like, "Uth, what are you doing with Sophie?" Because I know that because I was also like, "Uth, what are you doing with Sophie?" But Uth assured me it was like they weren't doing anything romantic. Now here's the fallout. I was not friends with Uth at the time when this happened. I was friends and somewhat in contact with someone who knows Sophie, and I got things filtered through them. I was somewhat aware of this happening. Um, I don't think Uth is a pedophile, but they're definitely a groomer. I'm going to say as much. They're definitely a groomer, and this this I think that drawing the minor character naked is that's weird, but it looks like joke porn, so it's like not as bad as anything else. And here's the matching profile pictures again. Again, that you sent that to a minor, that's weird. Mention the paranoia Uth had constantly regarding things like this. They would constantly um be like talking about how paranoid it made them that Sophie was had feelings for them, and that they were worried about it, and I was like, just cut it off, dude. Just like don't engage with the romantics. Apparently they did. They didn't listen to me, and I'm not surprised. Closing statement. I agree. Youth needs to be deplatformed. Now time to sit down for the monolith of a document Uth has put here. This one I will actually kind of read out loud because it's a lot longer, and Sophie's document is a lot more concise and factual. So, opening statement. Hello, my name is Outh. I have recently come under fire for being sexual and weird towards Sophie. Great start. Person I was friends with at the time I was 18. She was mostly 16, but we did interact a little bit when she was 15. Most of your interactions with Sophie, like, actually, I'm pretty sure it was like half and half. And for you to put so much emphasis on that being only a little bit when you guys, when she was 16, really shows that you're trying to like brush it off. Shay, you want to clear up confusions, yet you're hiding things. That's not clearing up confusions. That's trying to cover up your goddamn tracks because you know you fucked up. Okay. Sophie and I met in the server when she was 15, 17. I already went over this. They hated each other until Outh was 18. You did not turn 18. Yeah, actually, it was a month later. I don't know. They were 18 by the time they met because Sophie gives a concise date, May 10th. Outh is already 18 by then. I know this because their birthday is in April. Because they told me about it. They admit to the role playing, and just because you didn't see the role playing as romantic doesn't mean Sophie doesn't. Or didn't. And like role playing sex and romance it doesn't inherently mean that you want to romance the person, but the way you went about it was definitely questionable, and you should not have touched romantic role or sexual, sorry, misspoke, sexual role plays with Sophie, considering the age and maturity gap. That is, that is like common sense, Uth. And you straight up lie here saying you never engaged in sexual role plays. We had some scenes where something was started, but they were mainly joking in senses, nothing ever graphic. Went into detail about these scenes, nor did we ever ERP. You ERP'd. You told me in one of our IRLs about it. You would talk about it to us. I don't know why you're straight up lying. Just say the truth. Truth. Um and you were the one to constantly reiterate to your friends that the age gap wasn't that bad. Because I like even told you the age gap was weird and that I disagree with you too dating and that I would find it weird personally. And you were like, that's fair. I don't have screenshots of this because it was verbal, or like a lot of our conversations, or it was either in a server or something, so I don't have access to it anymore. But um you were the one who mostly brought it up because Sophie doesn't really have a point in lying about it. You were the one that constantly would be like, oh, the age gap isn't that bad. If we dated, it wouldn't be that bad. That was you. And for you to try to push it onto Sophie is definitely a a choice you made. And I messaged you this morning and you told me that three adults in your life that we have that you, me, and another IRL have established that they're not entirely trustworthy and that they don't have the best opinions. And for you to value those three opinions that you know probably aren't right over all of your friends telling you to stop is wild. And that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse to say, oh, these people told me it was fine, so I went along with it anyway. You can trust those adults, but it's still wild to me that you use that as a way to justify it. Not to mention one of those adults literally being like 2 years older than you. Something like that, 2 to 3 years older than you. So, which like, we were all around your age. That guy was around your age. So your logic is flawed here, and I don't understand what you were trying to make. Like you were just trying to excuse it. Like, just take responsibility. Just take responsibility. Move on. Don't come back into the internet until you have sat and thought about things and thought about things more. And when you think you're done thinking about things, think about things a little bit more, and then come back to the internet and come back under a different person. Do not come back as Uth. Or do, I don't know, I don't care. Just don't interact with minors. Make like an NSFW account. Keep people away from you that are minors because you clearly do not know how to act with them. Saying that even her mother was fine with it is odd. And also, the childhood friends thing. I don't, this is he said versus she said sort of stuff. We literally were telling people we met when we were 15 and something. You are still the adult in this situation. Most of the responsibility still falls onto you. Um, Also, what is the point of bringing up that Sophie was treated poorly by other people? What is the point of bringing that up? Saying you went to Sophie, please let me know if I'm doing something wrong, is a mute point when the maturity gap is there and Sophie was actively being treated worse by other people and you should not have brought this up at all. You could be like violently stabbing me and I could say, "Oh, it's fine. You probably didn't mean it." And you could run away saying, "It's fine because they said it was fine." That is what you're doing here. And going, "Oh, Sophie said I was not in the wrong," is not it's not a good point, especially when you were known to get aggressive when people disagreed with you. I would know because I we had confrontations and you would get aggressive with me and you would manipulate the situation to fit you better, make it seem not as bad. You admit to the profile match. Good. Just because it wasn't meant to be sexual towards Sophie does not make it any less weird or bad. Or any less, it does not take away from the severity of it. It was still a bad thing you did, and I think you shouldn't have done it. You might have not forced her to do it, but you still did it. As still your art. Like, you take responsibility for it for about 2 seconds, and then you try, like, getting off the plane. Getting off the blame. Yeah, okay. Okay, Outh. Sure. You make a weird point here saying you can't be pressured by people younger than you, but you can. That's true. I don't know where you're going with this, but Sophie did not pressure you into stuff. You had Sophie in an NSFW channel with me in it that only both of us had access to. Like, besides you, obviously. And you would post your not joke NSFW artwork in that server. That was not you sending people NSFW as a joke. That was you sending it, like, sharing it because you liked sharing that artwork. And I know because I was there for a good chunk of it. Sophie's mother, quote unquote, pressuring you into a relationship with her. What is the point of bringing this up? What is the point of bringing this up? I understand that it's like, oh, another adult saying that it's fine with me and Sophie to get together. But it's... You should have thought about this more, and that's honestly still your fault, regardless. You should not, also should not have said to Sophie that you were gonna keep it on the radar. Everyone advised you, especially myself, everyone advised you, don't do anything with Sophie. Don't interact with it. You also put a screenshot with me in it. You highlight that you already said no, but you're like, but I feel bad, lol. She and some other people also said the age gap isn't that bad either, but then there's people that are like groomers, so I'm getting mixed responses. And then I mentioned that it's like maturity more than the age gap. I say a weird thing here, and I say that Sophie is mature for her age, and I'm not as firm as I would like. But again, this was a year ago, and I was a lot more flimsy as a person then. And like, I take back that statement of she's mature for her age. Then there was like the role playing, and then you keeping Sophie up. You all joke harshly, and for you to go, oh, I was just joking with Sophie, when you probably weren't, because I know you, and you are kind of harsh as a person. You were probably completely serious when you wanted Sophie to stay up with you, but you were just, like, kind of indirect about it. Well, you say you didn't force her, you probably, like, I'm just speculating here, but knowing you, you probably just, like, tried getting her to stay with you, because, and I assume this because I know you as a person, and when you wanted something but you couldn't directly ask for it, you found, like, workarounds, and joking about wanting it or whatever. Because you were never direct about things, Outh. You were never a direct person, and you hated confrontation. So I don't, like, again, this is a he said, she said situation, but, I think this is, I'm believing Sophie here, knowing you. And then there's, like, you wanting Sophie to pour all her time into your projects, and I remember seeing some screenshots of Sophie being really distressed about it because you were, like, kind of an asshole about it, and knowing you, you probably fucking were. Because we worked on projects together, and you did the same shit, and albeit they were for school, but still, I know how you can get when you want something, and it's like, you're watering down what you did. And you're not including full context. She did not send her friends to call you a pedophile. No one has ever sent anyone after you. You also did this when I, like, cut you off as a friend. You claimed that one of my friends who sent you a singular emoji, the middle finger, was being sent after you. No one was sent after anyone. Anyone that, that anyone did to you, like, after Sophie and I cut you off, was completely of their own volition. And they did. And no one was sent. And then you get your friend to, message Sophie going, hey, did you call Outh the pedophile?
Why? Why? Just block and move on if it's that goddamn annoying or whatever. Like, it's, it's, you do so many things wrong here, and it's grating to see. And there was a visit. I already went over the visit. You go into a lot of detail into what happened. I Unnecessary detail in my opinion. I don't need to know about what you guys did. You are a groomer. You are a groomer, and I don't even know if you've apologized to Sophie directly, seeing as screenshots that you took of your conversation with her, you had her blocked. You are a groomer, and you need to address the fact that you were a groomer before you even think of coming back to the internet, Uth, and I am so serious about this. Please think about your fucking actions before you come back. That is my closing statement. Is Apollo, Dino, or Medic, whatever you know me as. That is my closing statement. Sophie is in the right here. Sophie is in the right, and Uth is a groomer, and I do not think they're a pedophile, but they're certainly a groomer. And what they did was wrong, disgusting, and awful.